Corduroy by Don Freeman. There's Corduroy. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers, buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost a button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. That's pretty sad. Corduroy just wants somebody to buy him so he can go home and play. He's got a broken button. Nobody wants to buy him. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight, I'll go and see if I can find it." Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him, quite by accident. He had stepped onto an escalator and up he went. Could this be a mountain? He wondered. I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there, before his eyes, was the most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. This must be a palace, Corduroy gasped. This must be a bed, he said. I've always wanted to sleep in a bed. And up he crawled onto a large, thick mattress. All at once he saw something small and round. "Why, here's my button," he cried, and he tried to pick it up, but it was tied down tight. He yanked and pulled with both paws until pop, off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy tumbled, bang, into a tall floor lamp, and over it fell with a crash. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above and was coming down the escalator. "Now who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding around here." He flashed his light under and over sofas, beds, until he came to the biggest bed of all. And there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. "Hello?" he said. "How did you get upstairs?" The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning. They're looking at him with a wide, warm smile was the same little girl he'd seen only the day before. "That's the same girl who wanted to get him, but the mom didn't want to because he lost a button. He didn't look new. It's the same girl." "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night, I counted what I've saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I can bring you home. Shall I put him in a box for you?" the saleslady asked. "Oh, no, thank you," Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs into her family's apartment and straight to her own room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed just the right size for him. "This must be home," he said. "I know I've always wanted one." Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like you the way you are," she said, "but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." "You must be a friend," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a friend." "Me too," said Lisa, and gave him a big hug. The end. What a beautiful story. Think about that for a second. Corduroy was a bear at the store, but he had this lost button right here. See this lost button? And the girl's mommy didn't want her to get him because he didn't look new. He had a lost button. But the girl brought her money back from the piggy bank, and she wanted to get that bear. She had her own special bed made up for the bear, and they became friends. What a beautiful story. Corduroy by Don Freeman. Let's read another story. This one's called Blueberries for Sal. Blueberries for Sal by Robert McCloskey. There's Sal. That's what the cover of the book looks like. All right, here we go. Blueberries. Corduroy was a good story. Here's another one. Blueberries for Sal. One day, little Sal went with her mother to Blueberry Hill to pick blueberries. Little Sal brought along her small tin pail, and her mother brought her large tin pail to put blueberries in. We will take our berries home and can them, said her mother. Then we will have food for the winter. Little Sal picked 3 berries and dropped them in her large tin pail. Oh, excuse me. Let me try that again. And dropped them in her little tin pail. Kaplink, kaplank, kaplunk. She picked 3 more berries and ate them. Then she picked more berries and dropped 1 in the pail. Kaplunk. And the rest she ate. Then little Sal ate all 4 blueberries out of her pail. Her mother walked slowly through the bushes, picking blueberries as she went and putting them in her pail. Little Sal struggled along behind, picking blueberries and eating every single one. They're supposed to be canning these blueberries to save for the winter. Uh-oh. Little Sal hurried ahead and dropped a blueberry in her mother's pail. It didn't sound kaplink because the bottom of the pail was already covered with berries. She reached down inside to get her berry back. Though she really didn't mean to, she pulled out a large handful because there were so many blueberries right up close to the one she had put in. Her mother stopped picking and said, "Now, Sal, you run along and pick your own berries. Mother wants to take her berries home and can them for next winter." Her mother went back to her picking, but little Sal, because her feet were tired of standing and walking, sat down in the middle of a large clump of bushes and ate blueberries. Now, that doesn't sound like listening. She was supposed to be collecting blueberries for winter. Now she's sitting down on the job and eating. On the other side of Blueberry Hill, Little Bear came with his mother to eat blueberries. "Little Bear, she said. Eat lots of berries and grow big and fat. We must store up food for the long, cold winter. Little Bear followed behind his mother. Then he had to hustle along to catch up as she walked slowly through the bushes eating berries. Little Bear stopped now and then to eat berries. Over on the other side of the hill, Little Sal ate all of the berries she could reach, but it was a mother crow and her children, and they stopped eating berries and flew away, saying, "Caw, caw, caw." Then she heard another noise in the bushes and thought, "That is surely my mother, and I will go that way." But it was Little Bear's mother instead. She was tramping along, eating berries, and thinking about storing up food for the winter. Little Sal tramped right along behind. So this is a big difference between, us humans and bears. Humans, we have to take our food and save it for winter. Like Little Sal's mom was talking about, she was going to can the blueberries so that they could open the cans later and eat for winter. But the bears can't do that. What the bears do is they just eat a lot before winter. And then when they sleep through winter, they have all that extra energy to burn. Like bears hibernate. You guys know that. So the bears have to eat a lot before they hibernate for the winter. But Little Sal should be saving her berries so that they could can them for winter. By this time, Little Bear had eaten all the berries he could reach without moving from his clump of bushes. Then he hustled off to catch up with his mother. He hunted and hunted, but his mother was nowhere to be seen. He heard a noise from over a stump and thought, "That is my mother walking along." But it was a mother partridge and her children. They stopped eating berries and hurried away. Then he heard a noise in the bushes and thought, "That is surely my mother. I will hustle that way." But it was Little Sal's mother instead. She was walking along, picking berries, and thinking about canning them for next winter. Little Bear hustled right along behind. Little Bear and Little Sal's mother, and Little Sal and Little Bear's mother were all mixed up with each other. Among the blueberries on Blueberry Hill. So Little Sal stopped to eat her blueberries in the bush, and she couldn't find her mommy. She found Little Bear's mommy. And Little Bear was hanging around eating his berries, and he couldn't find his mommy. He found Little Sal's mommy. So they're all mixed up. They're not together. Little Bear's mother heard Sal walking along behind and thought it was Little Bear, and she said, "Little Bear, munch, munch, eat all you gulp can possibly hold. Swallow." Little Sal said nothing. She picked 3 berries and dropped them kaplink, kaplank, kaplunk in her small tin pail. Little Bear's mother turned around to see what on earth could make a noise like kaplunk. "Grumph!" she cried, choking on a mouthful of berries. "This is not my child. Where is Little Bear?" She took one good look and backed away. She was old enough to be shy of people, even a very small person like Little Sal. Then she turned around and walked off very fast to hunt for Little Bear. So the mama bear realized that Little Bear was gone. She turned around and walked off fast to go find Little Bear. Little Sal's mother heard Little Bear tramping along behind and thought it was Little Sal. She kept right on picking and thinking about canning blueberries for next winter. Little Sal's mom doesn't know that Little Sal's not right behind her. It's really Little Bear behind her. She doesn't know. Little Bear padded up and peeked into her pail. Of course, he only wanted to taste a few of what was inside. But there were so many, and they were so close together, that he tasted a tremendous mouthful by mistake. "Now, Sal," said Little Sal's mother, without turning around, "you run along and pick your own berries. Mother wants to can these for next winter." Little Bear tasted another tremendous mouthful and almost spilled the entire pail of blueberries. Little Sal's mother turned around and gasped, "My goodness, you are not Little Sal. Where, oh where is my child?" Little Bear just sat munching and swallowing and licking his lips. Little Sal's mother slowly backed away. She was old enough to be shy of bears, even very small bears like Little Bear. Then she turned and walked away quickly to look for Little Sal. She hadn't gone very far before she heard a kaplink, kaplank, kaplunk. She knew just what made that kind of a noise. Little Bear's mother had not hunted very long before she heard a hustling sound that stopped now and then to munch and swallow. She knew just what made that kind of a noise. Little Bear and his mother went home down one side of Blueberry Hill, eating blueberries all the way, and full of food stored up for next winter. And Little Sal and her mother went down the other side of Blueberry Hill, picking berries all the way, and drove home with food to can for next winter. A whole pail of blueberries and 3 more besides. The end. What a great story. Little Sal got mixed up with his mommy and wound up following around Little Bear's mommy. And Little Bear got lost and wound up following around Little Sal's mommy. But then they wound up finding each other. And they went home getting ready for winter. The bears ate as many blueberries as they can so that they would have food stored up for next winter. So they ate all their blueberries to get ready to hibernate, to sleep all winter. But on the other hand, Little Sal and her mommy, they picked as many berries as they could, and they had a whole pail of blueberries and 3 more besides. So they had 1 and then 3 more. They had 4 pails of blueberries to go home and can for winter so that they would have some nice fruit to eat during the cold winter months. What a great story.